Are you a busy working family, attending kids' after-school activities, sporting events, eating on the go, where nutrition just winds up on the back burner? Well, we've got some good news for you. I'm Carolyn Price Cox, and I've been inspiring healthy living with the Juice Plus Company for 36 years as a Presidential Marketing Director Plus. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Dr. Paul Williams. Dr. Williams has been a physician for over 40 years. 20 of those years he spent in the emergency room, and also has spent several years as a family practice physician and medical corporate director. Dr. Williams feels that it's much easier to prevent disease than to just treat it. I present to you Dr. Paul Williams.
Hello, everyone who's listening. Thanks for doing so. I am really happy to be able to talk with you, to have the chance to talk with you about basically this subject of whole food nutrition, and it's important to us. Now, I didn't learn this in medical school, largely because a lot of it was not known when I was in school, but also that's still, unfortunately, the situation. Our Western medical education just does not include much along this line. It's just not realized or recognized by many physicians and other healthcare professionals, and they don't know that they don't know it. So it's important for us to try to educate as many people as we can, I believe. I have spent a lot of time over the last 30 years trying to help people stay away from doctors. And this is a critical element in that. Now, when I use the term whole food nutrition, I'm just talking about the nutrients, the substances that we find in the foods that we get from plants. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, berries, beans, etc. Everybody knows that these are good for us, but many people don't realize just how good they are for us. It's not just that they would help you feel a little better, but they can literally save your health and save your life. Now, this term whole food nutrition includes the substances that we find in those foods, as I said, and the food scientists who are studying this are isolating and identifying the substances found in fruits and vegetables and all those other foods. Now, these substances are called phytochemicals. Phyto just means in a plant, and chemical just means it's a substance. But the term chemical is not understood well by a lot of people. So other people have called these phytonutrients or micronutrients. And that's an important term because they are there in such tiny amounts, micrograms for the most part. To date, the surprising part here has been that to date, these food scientists have isolated and identified over 25,000 substances. And they're still counting, by the way. And the other part of this concept is that we don't need a large amount of any of these every day. We need a tiny bit of everything. It's the synergistic effect of having these all together that is so important to the body. We have a tremendous inherent ability to stay well and healthy, to deal with problems that do occur, control them, minimize them, heal them, and often prevent them if we feed ourselves right, but that must include enough of this nutrition. Most Americans are woefully short in their intake of this nutrition. And there are three main reasons that this occurs. Number one is that we just don't eat nearly enough of these foods. The current recommendation is an average of 10 servings a day of these fruits and vegetables and these other foods. And these foods must be ripened on the plant, recently harvested, and not cooked if they are going to supply enough of this nutrition. That is just not happening for the vast majority of Americans. Now, of these tens of thousands of substances in the foods, only a few actually come from the soil. These are the inorganic nutrients or the minerals. Everything else forms in the food as part of the ripening on the plant process. The vast majority of foods that people eat, when they do eat some of these foods, the ones available to us at the store, were picked green so they won't spoil. But when you do that, you stop the formation of these foods. They form, as I indicated, as part of the ripening on the plant process. So when you can buy locally grown produce, that's much better at a farmer's market or a roadside stand. Those growers leave the food on the plant longer, so it will taste better because flavor develops as part of that process as well. And you'll then come back and buy more from them. But that also means they're more nutritious. So and of course, if you can grow some of your own, that would be very good as well. The second point that, let me back up just a step. I ask many people, how many servings of fruits and vegetables do you eat a day? And the answer is often, oh, I eat a lot. Well, when we get right down to it, that turns out to be a banana for breakfast and corn and potatoes for dinner. And other than that, it's just not happening. And the other problem there is that the variety is missing. Eating a wide variety of fruits and vegetables is important because different foods have higher concentrations of different micronutrients. So it's really important to get a lot of different colors. And that's something that's missing in people's diets as well. So we don't eat very many of these foods, and the ones we do eat are not very nutritious to start with. And the third point is that we tend to cook them, especially our vegetables, too much. Heat can damage many nutrients. And most people cook their vegetables so much that they're literally soft and falling apart. And therefore, that's going to be less nutritious as well. When you put these three factors together, it is impossible to get enough of this whole food nutrition. Now, one of the ways that we know this impacts us involves a process that's part of our metabolism or our physiology called oxidative stress. All that means is that when our cells use oxygen to produce energy, there are little byproducts left over called free radicals. These are a normal part of our metabolism, and we actually need a few of them for some basic processes, but we get in trouble when we have too many of them. These are unstable particles of oxygen that interact with anything in the body that they touch. The wall of a cell, the substances or structures in a cell, like the DNA and the mitochondria, substances in the bloodstream, the covering over a nerve cell called the myelin sheath, which must be healthy in order for that nerve to function normally. And the more this process, this oxidative damage is occurring, the faster we're aging, which is wearing out, the higher our risk of illness and disease, and the less our bodies can do to handle the problems that do occur. So keeping this process to a minimum would be a great idea. One of the things that we must overcome if you're doing it is smoking. Cigarette smoking in particular produces a tremendous excess of free radicals, and this is why so many smokers look so much older than they really are. They have sped up that aging or wearing out process significantly. Now, another thing on the list is a big surprise to most people at first because that's exercise. Intentional physical activity, which we must do in order to stay as healthy as possible. So, how can it also be harmful? Well, look at what's happening when we do exercise. Exercise is basically increased muscle activity, and the muscles need more energy. The muscle cells need more energy during that time. So we breathe harder and faster, and our hearts beat faster to deliver more blood and oxygen to the muscle cells, which they use and that oxygen for more energy, but at the same time create more free radicals. And the point is that without the proper protective nutrition, exercise also speeds up the rate of aging and increases the risk of health problems. There are many long distance runners, for instance, who look much older than they really are. And the part of this whole food nutrition that comes into play here are the thousands of micronutrients that can function as what are called antioxidants. They interact with and neutralize those harmful free radicals before they can cause the damage. So this is a critical part of the effect of this whole food nutrition. Now, many of our well-known or best-known nutrients are powerful antioxidants. Vitamin C and vitamin E are two good examples, but you cannot take those in an isolated form and expect that to function in the place of thousands of others that work together to bring about this protective effect. You can also we tend to think that, well, if something's good for me, a whole lot of it will be even better. And that does not work with these isolated nutrients. So we've got to have the basic whole food nutrition with all of those antioxidants working together to minimize the effect of these free radicals of this oxidative stress. There are many other ways that this nutrition is important, but that is a major one, and that's about all the time I can spend on that in this short talk. So I want to talk about a way that I have seen that is very, very helpful in getting this nutrition. First of all, please eat more fruits and vegetables. Do your best to do this and increase the variety in your diet. Teach your children to eat plants, to eat fruits and vegetables. But it's going to take some time to get to all of the point where you're getting it all from your diet, if you ever can. It's very, very difficult in our Western lifestyle to do this. And this is where the whole food-based product called Juice Plus comes into the picture. Juice Plus is now 30 years old, so it's not something that's brand new and we don't know a whole lot about. Juice Plus is the nutrition, these tens of thousands of micronutrients from well over 30 fruits and vegetables and berries in capsules and in a soft, chewable or gummy form. The fruits and vegetables that go into this product are all grown on farms and orchards that are contracted to the parent company. It's not somebody's job to start looking for apples and carrots every Monday morning. We know where all these foods are coming from. We know how the soil is treated, how the plants are treated, and all of the foods are harvested after ripening on the plant or in the ground, in the case of things like carrots and beets. When they're harvested at the peak of ripeness, that means the highest possible nutrient amounts are there. These foods then are mashed up together, the fruits together, the vegetables together, and the berries together. And the water is then removed from that slurry form of these foods. And this is done in a rapid low temperature process, so there's no significant heat applied. And the powder that's left behind is then put in the capsules and in the soft chewables or the gummies. Now, that sounds like a great idea, but people have very valid questions about this. Well, how do I know that all of the nutrition is still there? How do I know that it will still work? How do I know it's going to do me some good? Well, it makes sense to me that it would, but I can tell you that I know what it has done for me. I have been taking Juice Plus for 27 years. And even being vegetarian for 50 years, Juice Plus has still had a significant positive impact on my health. Well, that's great. You might say I'm happy for you, but how do I know it's going to do me any good? Well, second is I've talked to hundreds, if not thousands of people over the last 30 years, and they have said that they have seen significant impact on their health as well. But the real reason that I can tell you that if your diet is not supplying this nutrition, that Juice Plus will have a positive impact is because of the research that has been done over the last 27, 28, 29 years. To date, there are over 40 published medical and scientific studies that have looked at the effect of Juice Plus on various things that can be measured that indicate a person's likelihood of improved health or of reducing the risk of health problems. And these studies have all been done on people who are taking Juice Plus. And I want to tell you just a few of the basic points that we get from this research. A number of these studies have clearly shown a reduced level of that oxidative stress, that free radical damage that speeds up our aging process and increases our risk of illness and disease. Before that was studied, I should have said first that this nutrition has been shown to be very bioavailable. All that means is that when you put this powder and some water into your gut, these nutrients are very easily absorbed into the bloodstream, where they can be delivered to every cell in the body. So those cells can use this nutrition to function in as healthy a manner as possible, meaning the organs that they're part of are going to function as normally as possible. So we know that it gets into the bloodstream and it reduces that oxidative stress. It also has a very significant impact on the function of the immune system. The immune system plays a huge role in our health in multiple ways. It is made up of several different types of cells and substances that have the job of protecting the body from foreign invaders, viruses, bacteria, mold, parasites, pollen, a whole bunch of different things. And without enough of the right nutrition, many of these components of the immune system become less and less active. Now they can't do their jobs to keep us as healthy as possible. One of the cells that becomes underactive is called a regulatory T cell, T as in tango. And one of its jobs is to regulate the level of activity of the B cells, B as in Bravo. B cells are supposed to produce antibodies to attack viruses and bacteria when they are needed. And the regulatory T cell tells them when to do that. But now that the T cell is underactive, the B cells produce antibodies all the time. And these are running around in the body looking for something to do. And when they don't have a job like attacking viruses and bacteria, these higher levels of antibodies start attacking some part of the body itself. And this is the start of an autoimmune disease or process. lupus, scleroderma, rheumatoid arthritis, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, a whole host of things. There are at least 100 health problems that are now considered to be autoimmune, and it seems like there are more being added on a regular basis. The research shows that when Juice Plus brings the underactive T cells and the other components of the system back up to a normal level of activity, this appears to bring that overactive B cell back under control. This has significant implications for folks with asthma and allergies as well, because these are all a part of the overactive B cell situation. We also know that Juice Plus reduces the level of inflammation in the body, which plays a significant role in the development of many health problems. Juice Plus protects the lining of the arteries called the endothelium. And a normally functioning endothelium means regulated blood flow and blood pressure. And so this is a real important part of it. Now, another study that is really, I think, very demonstrative of the effects of Juice Plus is the dermatology or skin health study. In this study, Juice Plus was shown to increase the microcirculation to the skin. In other words, the tiniest little arteries, the arterioles and capillaries, are functioning better, delivering blood to the skin better, and the skin becomes thicker and more dense and better hydrated. It is now a much healthier covering, protective covering for the body. It also appeared that wrinkles tended to get less deep. That would be a part of the better hydration and the thickness of the skin, the density. Now, that's really important for skin health. My own skin health experience from Juice Plus is that even being as fair-skinned as I am, I don't sunburn nearly as easily as I used to. If you have children, you will likely remember that when they were babies and you fed them a lot of strained vegetables, they turned orange. Those are the protective carotenoid antioxidants from these foods. And I am a little bit orange now, and I'm very happy to be that color. So it's a very protective effect there as well. The other things I think that this study has implications for would be the problems that diabetics have. Diabetics, of course, have trouble controlling their blood sugars, and anecdotally, we've heard from many diabetics that it is easier to control their blood sugars. And some of the research suggests that the A1C is now lower. This is a test that shows not what your blood sugar is right now, but what it has been doing over the last several weeks. Also, diabetics are much more susceptible to infections. And I think that the healthier immune system is going to have a big impact there. They also have trouble healing skin injuries. And I think the healthier skin is going to have a significant impact there. And maybe most importantly, all three of the really serious complications of diabetes, the retinopathy or eye damage, which can lead to blindness, the nephropathy or kidney damage, which can lead to kidney failure and the need for dialysis and eventually a transplant, and the neuropathy or nerve damage, all occur because of poor microcirculation to those organs. And I think that improving that is going to be a significant help to these folks. Because if the microcirculation is increasing to the skin, it has to be increasing everywhere in the body. That's just a few of our studies. And there certainly all of the information about the studies is available online. And that can be researched. You can look at it anytime you want. You will never, a couple thoughts here, you will never be as healthy as you could be if you don't have enough whole food nutrition. There's just no way around that. You'll never have the highest possible chance of staying well and healthy as possible throughout life. So I want to encourage you to take a serious look at your and your family's whole food nutrition intake. And if it is apparent that it's just not enough, it's not as high as it should be, please talk to the person who invited you to listen to this today and make arrangements to add Juice Plus to your and your family's diet. It will have a significant positive impact on your health and your family's health. And if you do that now, you won't be as old next month as you will be otherwise. Thank you very much for listening to this, folks, and my best wishes to you. Stay safe and well, and I will be glad to help answer any questions I can in the future.